Acting the ordinary.
What?
Acting the ordinary.
What the
Welcome to the new show. This is episode number 1 of Acting the Ordinary. And it's anything but. All right. So, well, let's start off.
Adrian!
What?
Adrian! We're back! Adrian!
We're not
You
back.
Ricky?
We're not back.
We're
We are a whole new podcast now. This is Acting the Ordinary with JD and AJ. And hello. How are you doing? And I hope things are going well. We're going to start off with a little introduction to what you will expect of us.
I'm still hoarding toilet paper.
That's nice to know. That's very nice to know. I'm glad you're hoarding toilet paper right now. You know, that shortage is really a good blockage going on in society. This is a real problem, you know, the lack of toilet paper that's been going around. So good. You got toilet paper. I got toilet paper. I hope everybody has toilet paper. I hope you have toilet paper. Because you know, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So keep that in mind. Now, let's go over like what you'll expect of us, okay? Because what you will expect of us is what you'll expect of us is a different type of category. We are going to be more along the lines of trending topics, nothing too subject to you know, technology like we did with the last podcast. This is more of what's going on in the world. Let's bring it to light and let's make fun of it, or let's have fun with it, or you know, just if you're somebody that's if you're bored, I don't know, maybe you're working a third shift, or maybe you know, you have the day off, or you're working 9 to 5 and then you get out of work, whatever it might be. I don't know. If you're home and you got nothing to do, listen to this podcast. That's my marketing spiel on it. I hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed it. It was very off the dome. I didn't rehearse that whatsoever. So yeah, so expect you know, some content that is relative. It's relative to the world. It's not just something along the lines of maybe an invention or who knows, Bitcoin, whatever, you know. It's all gonna be relative, pressing issues that will bring to light. Okay, he's done. All right, I just want to make sure. Anyway, so AJ, do you have anything to say about the intro at all before we get started with this?
About the what?
The intro, motherfucker.
Oh, the intro? The intro was pretty good.
No, oh my god. No, do you have anything to say before we get started?
The intro was pretty badass. I mean, the beginning of some straight up good music.
I'm not talking about that, AJ. I'm talking about your opinions. What the hell?
I wasn't really paying attention to the intro because
I'm talking about your own thoughts about this podcast before we get started.
Well, it's better than the other one.
Oh my
god! For Vito to get back.
You're killing me, dude. You're killing me already. Oh my god. All right. So anyway, so he's speechless. He's got nothing to say. He says it's better than the old podcast, which is gonna be better than the old podcast. I fully believe that. But anyway, so have you ever been in a situation, okay? Have you ever been in a situation where you just met somebody that comes up to you and, you know, you don't know them that well and they don't know you that well, but they come up to you and, and they say something to you that shouldn't have been said, or something along the lines of something said that should never have been spewed out of someone's mouth. Not in the fact that it's, you know, it's random, but on the other note, it's completely mindless, and it just full on surprises you at the fact that, wow, I can't believe that person said something like this to me. So I'm going to tell you something. So I was encountered with this woman, an older woman, and it had to do with food. So let me just say that it had to do with the ingredients of a food. This woman comes up and asks me, and I kid you not, this is what she said. Is that crab from the ocean, or is the crab from the can? And if you're like me, you would definitely have just lost 10 brain cells to that question, on top of the fact that, lady, do you realize that all crabs, maybe some aren't, but most crabs all come from the ocean. And then it is up to us to decide if those crabs will be canned or not. So to ask me a question, if the crab comes from a can or from the ocean, that is a, you know what, that is just a point, an example of why this podcast should be in existence today. That is an example of why this podcast should be in existence, because we're gonna take that kind of information and we're gonna throw it out to the public. All right, you should not be a person that asks somebody if a crab comes from cans or comes from the ocean. It sounds simple, and it sounds kind of dull, but you know, like that kind of mentality surprises me sometimes. Just sometimes that should not even come out into existence, is somebody asking me if a crustacean from the ocean comes from a can or the ocean. And I don't know why I'm rambling about it, but it bugs me.
Well, you got something playing in the background. I can hear feedback. I can hear the feedback in the background.
There's nothing playing in the background. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's me. It's me. Never mind. I didn't mute my media volume, so I can hear you talking from the video. My bad.
Give me 1 second while I sanitize the sins off my hands from this gentleman that's on the phone.
Yeah. Why do you have to do it? I'm like a million miles away. Dickhole.
Yeah, no, I know. But so anyway, so yeah, expect that from the podcast from now on. Okay, so we're definitely gonna be talking about a lot of pressing, trending issues, and maybe not even issues. Maybe we could be talking about something that's shining in front of everybody, something that just breaks through the door and it's like, hey, I'm here. Something like that. All right, so. All right, AJ. So, what is your thought on, like if somebody, like, okay, so the story that I was just talking about. Now, if somebody comes up to you and has something of that nature and speaks to you of that nature, have you ever had that issue before? Have you ever had somebody do that to you before?
a couple times. Well, actually, one time, no, the second time was crabs. The first time, I forget what it was, but
Wait. Hold on. Stop at the crabs. All right, you gotta explain the crabs then. Explain the crabs.
This guy came up to me and goes, he came up to me because I was actually gonna grab two crabs, two big, large size adult crabs out of the fish tank, and the guy came over. He goes, "You can't do that," and I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "Do you ever wonder, would you buy crab from the fish tank or would you buy crab from the can?" I'm like, "It all comes from the same place." I turned around and walked away, and I'm like, "You fucking idiot."
Dude, yeah, and exactly. It's like how are these people, you know, like getting around like that? You know, it's like it's almost
And
like what is that?
And he didn't work there. It was just some random dude. Like, oh, you don't want to stick your hand in there. They might clip you. I'm like, they got rubber bands on their fucking claws, you idiot. And he's like, would you rather buy it from the store or would you rather buy it from the can? I'm like, it wouldn't matter to me. I'm just gonna take it out of the fish tank and throw it in a hot boil of fucking water, cook it, and still get the same amounty of meat that I get from the fucking can because it's coming from the same place. No matter if it's out in the sea or if it's coming from the fucking can, I'm still getting the same texture and the same quantity from the lobster itself if I pulled it out of a fucking fish tank.
So definitely let us know if you've ever had that kind of issue in your life, and you know, maybe, of course, I'm not gonna say maybe. I'm sure somebody has a much better story than that, but I had to share that story. What is that?
I just literally turned around and just called him an idiot. That's all I did. I didn't even talk. I didn't even.
There was
talk
no chill given whatsoever with that conversation. Just get away from me, you idiot.
You must have sat down and talked with her for a good half hour. I just turned around and said, "You're a fucking idiot," and walked away.
Well, if you're talking about a half an hour, you're kind of, because it took about 10 minutes for her to come up with that sentence that came out of her mouth, and it took about 5 minutes for me to process the stupidity that just splurged in my face. But
so you literally have to sit there and have a conversation about crab meat with a woman that's probably in her 40s or 50s.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, like it's
the intelligence the people have these days on this planet is just like right down the drain.
Well, you know what it is? It's it's because of this COVID stuff.
Yeah, that too. You can blame a little bit of that.
No, it has nothing to do with that. But you know, it's like I've always said. There's something in the water, and it's gotten worse. So like, and you can't blame it. You can't blame this on fluoride. This isn't fluoride. This is something chemically imbalanced in the water that some people are lucky to not get, and some people are just unlucky and drink it consistently, and then you know, and they're just like all whacked out of their gore. You know, people are doing weird things. You know, people are saying weird things, and so I blame it on the water. You know, I never drink tap water. What I'll do is I'll put Poland Springs in a pot and I'll boil it, and then I'll soak it in a rag, and then I'll suck the water out of a rag just to make sure I get that extra filtration. So I get pure water.
Yeah.
I get pure water, nothing involved.
Well, I used to if I wanted like Palm Spring, I would go up to that mountain up here in Maine where there's like literally a mountain, and at the end of the trail there's this friggin' huge giant fountain on the side of the mountain where you can actually pump the mountain water. I forget where it is. It's like Palm Spring water, and it's like fresh water out of the mountain. It's like, oh yeah, that's the real fucking water. It ain't no
yeah. Oh, that's the real deal. Oh,
the real mountain.
Palm
Spring water.
Yeah. Not mentioning anything about, you know, wild animals pissing and shitting in the water before you
Right.
drink it, but yeah.
But it took me about 20 minutes to make about fucking 2 gallons because I had to pump that fucking son of a bitch 100 times. But I got fresh water out of it though.
Yeah. That's
I'm like, Jesus
It's
Christ, how long do I have
crazy.
to sit here and keep pumping this fucking thing? It was one of those old-fashioned fucking pumps.
You know, that reminded me though.
A well.
That did remind me though, because there was a meme once upon a time, years ago, where this gentleman is drinking from the river because he wanted he made a point that the water was fresh and the water was better than bottled water, and so he's drinking from the river that leads to a waterfall, and then on top of the waterfall is another gentleman who is stripped naked pissing down the waterfall stream. So you know, that just reminded me of that, and that's just funny because, like, you know, yeah, people say it's fresh water, but at the end of the day, it's contaminated through fecal matter and urine from somewhere. But you know, whatever. I used to piss in the river all the time. I watched a bunch of indigenous people go down to the river, and I'd piss in the river, and it would flow into their face. I'm just kidding. That was very offensive. I'm sorry.
You never know. you never know what you're drinking from a water well or whatever, or from a stream. It might be something that
Well, I mean, you know,
you'd be like, oh, shit.
and it's a lot of water, all over that's being processed through water plants and whatever. You know, a lot of that water, they chemicalize it a lot. Like you could look on these water bottles too. They put, you know, a little bit of chlorine. They'll put a little bit of bleach. They'll put fluoride in it. You know, things like that. And the fluoride, the main purpose of the fluoride was obviously to help out with your bones, mainly like your teeth, so your teeth wouldn't decay through germs and bacteria that are in the water. The fluoride is actually not even good for you. I mean, there's not a lot of fluoride, but it all adds up. And the amount of fluoride that you drink, it actually does take some time off of your existence. I mean, it's crazy to think about, but they actually have a statistic, like a whole fact sheet on how much fluoride will take off of your life. And some people have drank water with so much fluoride, it knocks off 15 years of their life. That's crazy. That is just crazy. Like, I mean, going from childhood on up to 35 and you knock 15 years off your life, say you make it to 70, you might make it to 75. You might make it to 80. I mean, it's not too bad, but still, you know, it does knock off years of your life. But I mean, you know, drinking bleach and, you know, chlorine, that's also not even good for you. I mean, I don't know why that they have to put this stuff in the water in the first place. I mean, usually just boiling water will really do the justice of getting that crap out of the water. For the most part, and then they have like that pure water filtration pitcher. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like that cap that goes on top has a little filtered container there with like zinc stone, and like it actually filters the water as it goes down. Like that's good. That you know, that's fine. But like, taking water and putting fluoride in it and putting bleach and chlorine, that's not even natural to anybody to consume, and it shouldn't even be in existence, but it is. Not sure why. Who knows? Maybe it's just to purify, but we're still drinking it in the end, and we should be like fine, you know. That doesn't mean to go to say, you know, like, get a bottle of bleach and drink it or anything, but, you know, whatever. But, you know, going into that.
It'll probably be better than Tide Pod.
Oh, my God. You know, going into this, you know, we dealt with Tide Pods. We dealt with burning yourself on a stove. I mean, we've dealt with all that stuff. And now our country is led by a moron who thinks we should start injecting disinfectant cleaners in our system to get rid of this COVID-19. Who actually thinks that's a good idea other than Trump? I mean, he's getting so much backlash over this right now. The FDA is even going out there now and saying, hey, that is not a good idea. Don't do it just because President Trump says it. You know, and
But you can definitely tell that he was only joking around, but everybody took it serious and they're like, oh yeah, now we got Trump, now we're gonna fucking stand on Trump.
I mean, he could have been joking around about it, but honestly, like I think his mind was in a different aspect of the situation. I don't think he was. Yeah, like I don't think Trump was, you know, saying that we should inject ourselves with like disinfectant, you know, like Lysol and shit. I think mostly what he was trying to get at was, do we have something like this that we can put into a vaccine? Yeah, that we can put into maybe a vaccine and something along that line.
See if that actually happens.
Right.
Yeah, let's get this tested and see if this actually happens. Does it work? Like he was trying to be a serious joke, but he tried to be. I think it was just mostly like, oh yeah, well, I never thought of that. Let's see if we can test that, see if that actually does work.
Yeah, I mean, like, and you know, his presentation of that whole situation, his presentation was pretty bad. If he was joking, because he did bring it about in a serious looking manner. I would say.
But well, let's continue with that a little bit, because even if they did, I mean, what would it be? What the hell? I mean, what would be? Would that be like a small, like, extended cure?
Well,
like it wouldn't be the cure, but it would help you kill it off, so you don't really die.
I mean,
the virus.
It's a man-made chemical. It's a man-made chemical, first of all, so it wouldn't actually do anything. It would actually it would probably just give you blood poisoning. But, you know, because it's not something that can travel on its own. It's not a living organism, excuse me. It's a chemical, just a man-made chemical of disinfectant solutions. And so if you did inject it, it would probably get you deathly ill. It's like that whole issue a while back where teenagers were drinking bleach. Do you remember that? Yeah, teenagers were drinking bleach. It's kind of like that. Like, I mean, they were drinking a heavy dose of bleach for the simple fact of that they wanted to end their life. But it's like that. You might as well just, if you're gonna inject yourself with chemicals like that, you're pretty much just signing a waiver of your death certificate. You know, I mean, you're really not gonna get any positive reaction out of that. You know, it's like when they were eating Tide Pods. Like when that was a phase, people were eating Tide Pods. The ones that did eat Tide Pods ended up dying because of it. It's something that should not be in your body. And I mean, they do have labels for a reason, and yet people still don't read the labels. So it's about time to just take the labels off of everything and let people sort their problems out on their own. So if you want to eat, charcoal, whatever, or you want to burn your face on a stove, or if you want to drink bleach, or if you want to drink floor cleaner, if you want to drink multi-purpose surface cleaner, then that's on you. Yeah, Tide Pods were a phase. I can't believe that, though. You know, like it started out with a joke about a guy on YouTube, and he didn't really eat the Tide Pod, which is ironic. He didn't actually eat the Tide Pod. He made it a joke to eat Tide Pods, And then other people actually believed that he was eating a Tide Pod, so they actually ate the Tide Pods, and it actually, well, the chemicals and the detergent eats your insides out, and so basically, if you're eating Tide Pods, you'll have all your shit in your body come out of your mouth, and you'll just like spew foam and blood and organs and shit.
Yeah, well, I didn't eat the Tide Pod. I just touched it with my tongue and then just like, and then threw it out.
You actually put it in your mouth? Oh my god.
No, I didn't put it in my mouth. I just like, I was holding it. I took my tongue and touched it, and then I threw it in the washing machine. I was like, yep, no, never mind.
Wait, repeat that.
I'm gonna do.
Wait, repeat the story.
I'm gonna
Wait,
do laundry.
explain this story though. Explain this story.
Okay, there was one day I went down. I had to buy a fucking thing of Tide Pods.
Yeah.
I went home from food shopping and shit, but I had to get Tide Pods.
Yeah.
I went home. I threw a laundry into the washing machine. I took out a Tide Pod and looked at it. I'm like, this can't really be that fucking sickening. You can't really die from this. All right. I stuck my tongue out and touched it with the tip of my tongue, and then I'm like, I threw it in the fucking washing machine, and I almost guzzled down a whole thing of milk. And I was like, yeah, that tastes nasty.
Oh my god. I have to give you props because I never would have done that. I never would have even thought about putting a Tide Pod on my tongue.
You'd be like, hey guys, I tried the Tide Pod challenge. But you're not going to tell them that you ate it. You just be like, well, I didn't eat it, dumbass. I just touched it with my tongue and then I threw it out.
There's a difference. I put it on my tongue. You actually ingested it.
Yeah, but you're the dumbass. Yeah, but you're the dumbass that actually did the challenge and ate the fucking thing. I just took a taste of it and then I fucking threw it in the washing machine. So you're going to die and I'm not.
Letting the problem sort itself out. Weakening the gene pool. Oh no, weakening the herd, strengthening the gene pool. Oh my god, that just scared the crap out of me. An ad popped up on my computer where this lady's head popped up, like slowly out of my monitor, and I was like, holy crap, what the hell is that?
But listen to this though.
That's weird.
This is gonna be the funny part because these were the Tide Pod before they started putting the other shit in it.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Because now these days, they put the new shit in the Tide Pods, like the Clorox mixed with the bleach and the other shit, like the blue and white.
Yeah.
This wasn't blue and white. This was blue and like some other fucking shit in it.
Yeah, I mean, I have Tide Pods of my own that are like red and blue and white and green and blue.
These were the normal Tide Pods that had the detergent soap. And it had something else, but it wasn't bleach or it wasn't Clorox or anything. These were the original Tide Pods. Now, when I go out and buy Tide Pods to do my laundry, I buy the new ones, the more washing effective, whatever, with the Clorox or whatever, bleach and all that bullshit. But
yeah.
These people out here that are doing the challenge, they're actually buying the new ones, and they're like, oh, let's eat the whole fucking thing. Yeah, well, back in my day, when I was using the regular Tide Pods, I could eat that and probably won't get sick. I probably have the shits, but I won't get sick and die. But now, these days, the people are buying the fucking
This is like
Tide
food
Pods.
poisoning. I can deal with this.
They're probably fucking having diarrhea, they're throwing up, they're puking all over the place, they have high fever, and they're probably dead.
Oh, that sounds like coronavirus symptoms.
Yeah.
Totally different, but it sounds like coronavirus symptoms.
Yeah.
Supposedly, anyway. But so.
Well, there's so much new chemicals in the new Tide Pods. I mean, the old Tide Pods, you wouldn't even fucking die. You probably would have the shits, but that'd be a one day having explosive chimichanga diarrhea.
Chimichanga? What the hell is that? What is that? What the hell?
I got a fat lip in my mouth. I got a fat lip in my lip, so I can't really talk right.
What's chimichanga?
Chimichangas.
Oh, chimichanga. Oh, like burrito? Like a burrito?
Yeah, I can't speak right because my lip is so fucking filled with tobacco.
You're not supposed to fill your lip with tobacco. You're supposed to put tobacco between your lip and your gums. Do you have
That's what I did, but I put a fucking I did, but I put a fat lip because I want more nicotine. I don't want to fucking sit here and be like, I smoke a cigarette. Smoke a cigarette. Well,
That's
I
a
want
cool
all my
way to
fucking
do it.
nicotine.
Smoking a cigarette is the cool way to do it. Cool kids do it.
Oh, don't be talking, you asshole. You just went down and bought a whole fucking carton. I only have 1 pack left.
Like I said, only the cool people smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, but you have the Marlboros and I have the 1839s. But I have fucking Copenhagen.
You know,
You got a whole
I
carton
don't
of fucking-
mind 1839s. They're all right. But you know, Mar Blacks are really just like really strong. I don't know. It's like
Yeah,
I don't
you're not
know.
gonna find.
It's
you're
like my
not
mom.
gonna-
It's
you're
like
not gonna
my.
find it.
It's like my mom says. You know, they're cowboy cigarettes, and then I have coffee that'll wake the dead for forever.
An hour. Yeah, for 24 hours. Yeah, but you're not gonna find the 1839s where you are. The only thing you could probably find in 1839s is the fucking cigars. These ain't the cigars. These are 1839 Red 100s. These are the leftover tobacco of Marlboro.
Yeah, and you know, rolling cigarettes too. That's oh my god, man. Rolled cigarettes. I can't stand those. I can't stand rolled cigarettes. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I don't
like,
know if it's the filter.
You talking?
Like yeah.
You talking about like fucking Golden Harvest and shit?
Yeah, stuff like that. I can't stand
That's
because it's
what-
like pipe tobacco. You know, it's not exactly the same tobacco that you would get from.
If you would hear the jokes between 1839 and Golden Harvest, they say that Golden Harvest is just the leftover tobacco on the floor from fucking Marlboro.
Well, yeah, they say that about Montclairs too. Montclairs are, I believe, are an off-brand of Marbs, and yeah, it tastes like the bottom of the barrel tobacco. That you know, like it's cheap. It's like $4 a pack. You get what you pay for, no matter what. You get what you pay for, and yeah, it's it's like yeah, it's like the bottom of the barrel tobacco of like Marbs, and it's just like it's like it's a you know, it does the job, but it has a rough flavor to it. But yeah, like rolled cigarettes though, I don't know, like it depends on the brand of tobacco you get for the cigarettes too. But I don't know. I think it's like the paper. It's like the tubes. I don't know. It's just an off flavoring of that in like a pack of cigarettes that you would get.
Yeah.
Definitely financially, that's the way to do it though. If you're gonna you know, smoke cigarettes, that should be the way to do it, is to get tubes and tobacco and roll your own. I mean, it's cheaper to do that, you know. Yeah.
A whole fucking carton of tubes and a big fucking 5-pound bag of whatever tobacco. It will last me about 3 months.
Well, yeah, and like, okay, so, oh my God, this is going so far off the deep end, but you know, like, so my carton I have to get my carton from the store because every other store was closed, but the carton I got was $60. It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But I also know that I'm gonna have a hard time going to stores because of work and time constraints, and stores are closing down earlier than normal and all this crap, you know. So I just got a carton of cigarettes. I was like, I'm gonna get this carton of cigarettes to hold me over, and it was $60. And I was like, I almost shit myself in the store. I was like, what? You know, like that's a little crazy, but. You know, if you were to go rolled cigarette way, I mean, you get a bag of tobacco that's like what, $15 maybe around there. If you go to like the outlet or anywhere that sells tobacco, like pipe tobacco, but like it's like a third of the price of a carton of cigarettes, and then you get the tubes, which are $2 maybe, or even $1, depending on what you're getting, and you know, 200 tubes in a box is an enormous amount of cigarettes. Like that's a carton of cigarettes. That's a carton of cigarettes actually. 200 cigarettes is a carton of cigarettes. But you're spending less. You're spending like half the price that you would if you just got a carton. But like yeah. And so like So I want to give a shout out to my coworkers, Rich and Steph, because those two, well, those two, man, we got into this conversation at work about the stimulus. Actually, Tanya, Steph, and Rich. Sorry. We got into a conversation about the stimulus at work, and it, you know, it was crazy. It was like the conversation we had was crazy because, you know, like everybody's expecting $1,200 from the stimulus. Some people have already gotten it. Some people didn't get it. Some people won't get it. Some people are waiting still. You know, like myself. So this is the this is how it goes. So we were thinking, well, this is where it started, was they were thinking that, what, you know, if things were different, if the stimulus was funded differently, like donation of anybody that's rich, you know, anybody that's a billionaire or multi-millionaire, you know, if it was funded that way, the outcome could be different. And now, what puzzles me is like that conversation opened me up to a few doors in the scenario of things with the stimulus. One, it opened me up to the fact that $2.2 trillion doesn't necessarily add up to what it really should be, because I did the math on this, and let's say, for instance, Bill Gates, even though he's not in Microsoft anymore, he left Microsoft, but we're gonna go with Bill Gates. He's $100 billion net worth. Okay, this guy is filthy rich. He's loaded. All right, but like, you take Bill Gates and say Bill Gates decides to donate just $1 billion of all his money. Do you understand? Do you know how much money that would be for everybody in the United States? Everybody. I'm talking the 326.7 million people in the United States. Do you know how much money that would be for everybody individually? That would be $3 million per person. $3 million per person. If somebody like Bill Gates donates to the Treasury $1 billion for a charitable cause, for the COVID-19 relief, a charitable cause, he donates $1 billion, and they disperse that $1 billion amongst the population of the United States, that is under $1 billion. Everybody here, everybody in the United States would get $3 million each just from that donation. Hold on.
Pretty
All right.
good.
So I opened up a calculator here. All right. Now I'm just gonna let you know. All right. So what you do is you take, excuse me, you take 326 point. 326. All right, 326. I'm going to do that. There we go. That's 326 million. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go back one. So we're at 326 billion, $700 million right now, okay? Now, you take that and you times it by 3. That's $980 million. Well, no, sorry. Yeah, oh my God, that's $980 million. Oh wait, what the hell happened? Somewhere along the way, the numbers got messed up. Okay, so you take $1 billion. We're at thousands, that's millions, and we're at billions. Okay, 100 billion. Jesus, I am just all over the map here right now. 1 billion, not 100 billion, sorry. $1 billion. You take $1 billion, divide that by 3 equals, yes, it equals $333 million and $333,333. So you can actually give people about $3 million each around the United States.
Yeah.
And that is way less than $2.2 trillion. Where are they getting the $2.2 trillion from? That's what I want to know. When I see this,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, you need $1 billion to fund everybody in the United States. I'm talking everybody in the United States, not just people that are working or homeless or whatever. I'm talking about business owners. Okay, the CEO of Walmart would get $3 million. You know, that's $3 million.
Mm.
That is enough for about 2 lifetimes.
So at this point, why are we getting stimulus checks if Bill Gates would do that? If Bill Gates would do that, we wouldn't have to wait for the government to send us a fucking check.
Well, that's what I'm
By the
saying.
way-
Like, why is it that we can't have somebody like that, like Bill Gates, donate $1 billion for the cause? Instead, we're going
And
to
then
shoot some
almost-
spit at your face about this is going to take $2.2 trillion, but it really won't.
Just a fuck.
It really wouldn't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Well, the thing is,
yeah.
everybody would be happy, wouldn't have to fucking worry about anything else. Even though if we got that chunk of money from Bill Gates, some of it would go towards taxes and shit, blah, 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 so you probably get a little less than fucking $3 million. But,
No. What I'm saying is, no, that wouldn't be, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Bill Gates, if he donated $1 billion to this cause for COVID-19 and it dispersed amongst everybody, it's a charity. It's a charity. It's a donation.
yeah.
It's like GoFundMe. So he would actually get more money in the long run. He would actually get more money back than what he originally donated. So if he donates $1 billion, he's most likely going to get about $2 billion for tax return, which is crazy. That's insane. He's making more money that way, and everybody gets $3 million.
And what were we talking before we went live? Do you ever get the thought of why? I mean, why should the government start giving us free checks and a forgiveness check where we don't have to pay it back? Does it sound like there's a cover up to something? Because later on in the future, the shit's gonna fuck you over and be like, oh, you're gonna have to pay back that money that we gave you for free. But
Yeah,
they
so
all
like
wanna
the
say,
so
quote-
like what we're
so,
dealing
no,
with.
but listen,
Yeah.
No, but listen, but they say, quote, it's a forgiveness check. Take this, you don't have to pay it back. But later on in the future, when this shit's down and gone or slowly going away, they're like, oh, remember that time I gave you that stimulus check? I gave you 2 stimulus checks, and now you got to pay it back. Be like, well, if you were gonna give it to us for free, why don't you just take it out of taxes when you do taxes?
Yeah, and that's exactly what that's exactly kind of where the direction of that was going was,
But
being that it's from the government to you, to your
Yeah.
pocket, being that it's the government giving you money, then it's going to get turned around on you in the long run. And here's what's going to mess up a lot of things too, and then this also ties into it. Yes, it'll be a punishment. It'll be brutal. But here's where
I just saw that too.
Yeah. I mean, here's something too that to think about that goes along with it is all right. The stimulus check, right? So everybody gets, not everybody actually, by the way. There are people that are getting more than $1,200. I'm just throwing that out there. There are people getting more than $1,200 where the average person's getting $1,200. I'm just throwing that out there now, and it is on Washington Post. It will show you that. But that being said, because it's funded through the government to give you $1,200, this is where it's going to mess up a lot of people. A lot of people are going to think it's free $1,200, and they're going to spend it. I already met people who, I've already encountered people who have wasted the entire check already as soon as I got it, which is crazy. That's crazy. That's what do you possibly need to waste $1,200 on in a day that you literally have no gain from? And so anyway, yeah, I feel like that is something that's going to happen. Is people is the IRS pretty much is going to say, hey, so you got $1,200, you didn't pay for your bills, you didn't do anything productive with the $1,200, and now we're going to require you to pay us back that $1,200. And again,
the thing is,
yeah,
I bet you people already know about this already. I mean, we're gonna bring up probably old news, but Trump already passed a bill where he's gonna do it a second fucking time. So I mean, just as you know, the more times he wants to do this, he's already saying that they're already suffering from the first check. They don't have enough money to even do the second check, but they're still going to do the second check.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really want to get down into details, and like I always say, that's just putting us more in debt because China owns us. We're getting more further into debt because he wants to help us out. And that's a good thing he wants to help us out because that will make him look a little better than how he is now. But if he wants to pass another bill for a third check or a fourth check, that's just putting us more in debt.
Yeah, and I feel like
it would be more. I agree with you. If Bill Gates would do this, it would help us out, and it would probably help out the debt that we're in because it would be a charity. It would help us out with the COVID-19.
Yeah,
it'll help us with whatever that we're dealing with in life. Paying bills, paying off mortgages, whatever, and probably a new toy or a new house. But that all depends on Bill Gates. Rather than that, so many checks that he wants to pass on a bill to give us free money, be like, okay, yeah, we know we're gonna have to fucking pay the price at the end. It's our punishment. We have to pay it back because it's not really free. And the next fucking year or two would be like, oh yeah, you owe us $1,200. Well, we already gave you another $1,200. So if you use that $1,200 to pay us back, you still have to pay us back on the other one.
Well, I think that's gonna.
In my opinion, I still think it's fucking putting us more in debt on where we're at now.
Yeah, and you know what? I think.
But,
give me 1 second here. I'm trying to turn the volume up on this damn thing. All right. Anyway, I think it's gonna tread some muddy waters when it comes to the relationship of China and USA. And the reason I say that is because, as many of you know, we're still in debt with China, and it might be. I'm not saying that I know the answer to this one. I mean, this could be a reason for the $2.2 trillion budget on the COVID-19. But federal withheld taxes of this $2.2 trillion is going to be $4.4 trillion federal tax. And so that's an incredible gain and a loss. Gain as in they are going to profit off of the $2.2 trillion. Having $4.4 trillion is going to get a little dicey when it comes to owing China money, and we are not going to be so kind as to say, here, we got $4.4 trillion from this deal through the COVID-19 relief, but you're not getting a dime. I think that's where that's going to go. And that's just my own opinion on it. But, yeah, I mean, we could easily, after that.
Basically saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically saying, oh, we'll give you money, but once you pay it back, you're not going to have any spare change from that $1,200 or $2,400 check, because you're gonna have to end up paying it back and be like, well, we gave you a check for free, you should have used it responsibly, but you're gonna have to pay it back, and you're not gonna see anything after from paying it back, because like what you said, and I'm agreeing on like what you just said.
So let me just read off this. I want to read off this chart that Washington Post did release. All right, so So I'm going to start with this here. So we get this nifty little chart, this little bar chart here that they send to us, and in bold letters how big the coronavirus relief bill is, and it goes and highlights coronavirus bill, $2.2 trillion. On top of that, we have, now I'm going to go down the line, and I'm going to read it through fully. Total federal spending, $4.45 trillion. Total tax revenue is $3.46 trillion. Coronavirus bill, $2.2 trillion. Defense spending is $676 billion.
Yeah.
And now, there's another chart here.
Now, hold on.
All right,
now,
all right.
What about the debt? Now add the debt to that chart.
I did. I did. I read it off.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. The total federal spending. Total federal spending is $4.45 trillion. But now, if I go down to this is kind of funny, because if I go down to this bar chart here that explains where the $2.2 trillion is going, it gets a little weird. All right, so for the top one, it states large businesses and local government loans, $504 billion. Down below that, small business assistance is at $377 billion. On-time checks, $290 billion. Business tax cuts, $280 billion. Expanded unemployment benefits, $260 billion. Health spending, $180 billion. Aid to state and local governments, $175 billion. Disaster assistance, $45 billion. Food stamps and safety net, $42 billion. Other spending, not even kidding, it says other spending. What is other spending?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. What is other spending? Because it's at $35 billion. Whatever other spending is at $35 billion. And then you get down to education. See, now we get to education spending. One of the last ones. And that's at a $32 billion. And then personal tax cuts are $10 billion. What really got me was the other spending, though.
Yeah. What's the other spending? Prostitutes?
I don't know. What is this? Like politicians and buying out prostitutes? I don't know. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of prostitutes. That's a lot of prostitutes. But you know.
Well, you know what? I don't know. This. They haven't said anything about fucking fuel, oil, and anything else, have they?
So far, that's not on this list. But like I said, okay, $1 billion. That's it. Just $1 billion. Send it out to everybody in the United States. Everybody will get up to roughly $3 million each. Okay, that's a shitload of money for anybody just to There you go. Relief fund. Done. Like that. $1 billion, right? It does not cost that much. It will not cost that much out of that $3 million that you get for any of this. For any of that. That's way too much money. And they're saying that small business assistance, they're spending $377 billion on small business assistance. I want to know what businesses are getting a good chunk of that cash.
Yeah. And what's
I want to know what businesses are getting that kind of that chunk of cash, because I can tell you right now that they would make easy with a good, if the individual, if the owner of a business got $3 million, I'm sure that would be enough. Especially since COVID-19 has only affected a few months. I don't know. To me, that sounds really shady. That there's that much money and it's going into everybody's pocket.
I don't know how bad it's affecting down there or anywhere else, but I know that's affecting us real hard up here, especially the Mainers and the veterans.
No, but you know, go around, ask people that are getting food stamps. Ask people that are getting ask people that are getting food stamps. First of all, how about that one? Because there's quite a bit of people that need food stamps. Let's just ask them how much they're getting in food stamps now. Because I guarantee you that if you can give $3 million to every person in the United States off of $1 billion, how much are they getting in food stamps? Because they're spending $42 billion, and they're stating that they're giving $42 billion out in food stamps. I want to know who's getting a good chunk of change off of food stamps, because I guarantee you it's not going to be close to that at all.
I know this ain't part of the article, but if I didn't have this disability, I would have been working from my fucking head to my toes, to my ass to my fucking whatever. I'd be working as hard as twice as hard as my dad. I'd be driving truck and doing what he does for a living.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for this disability that I'm trying to claim for, you know, and all that horse shit,
right?
I'd be like, I'm not gonna fucking be a cheat and be like, oh, I'm gonna use the government, I'm gonna use this and that and fucking food stamps, but it's literally a personal thing. I really have to do it.
Yeah.
And the way they're gonna do it, and hopefully it will work out this way, is they go through my history from school, and they look at my work history. The only work history I have is Job Corps. So hopefully, if they go back from 2019 to go back all the way to 2013, I'm probably looking at a good case, a good chunk of money.
Right.
And
that retro check.
I would definitely want to take that retro check.
Yeah.
And my brother, I'm just going to put this in here because I was just talking with my brother about an hour ago, and he was saying I should sign up for a fucking stimulus check. I'm like, I can't. My old man already did it because he already claimed me living with him.
Yeah.
And ever since that my mom passed last June, he says, just don't worry about it. He says, work on your case, get your disability, get on disability, and we'll go from here. He says it's starting out rough, but we're almost halfway through it anyway. Even though that I lost my mom, and she was on Social Security herself,
you
know, through work, and you know, me fighting for my disability in Social Security, I've already been denied through my first denial was me, my other denial was my mom, and my other denial is my dad. Well, he's still the last living spouse. So anyway, to the point, I'm going to cut through all that. I don't want to waste time. Through all that point, I have to. I mean, if I was working and I wasn't disabled, I wouldn't have to worry about using government and food stamps and this and that.
Right.
I'm that type of person like you. I'd work for my food. I'd work for this, but I kind of hate it, and I kind of want to stab myself and be like, oh, you know, fuck. I'm on a disability. I have to use the government, and be like, fuck. But out of the whole deal, I might be looking at almost fucking $70,000 fucking deal.
Yeah, like we were
And
talking about earlier.
I can-
Yeah, you're
I can
expecting
survive.
a good retro. Yeah.
And I can survive off that. All I gotta do is I just gotta do some small things and be like, hey, it's not really my fault. I was born that way. I have to use the government. But if I wasn't at that point, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm working for this. I'm paying my bills. I'm buying my own food. I'm not using food stamps.
Yeah.
A hard worker like you. But I guess I hit a couple trees falling off the apple tree, so that
Wait. Okay. Wait.
like
So you hit a couple
I wasn't
trees.
perfect. I wasn't. It's just an example, I wasn't
You hit
perfect.
you hit a couple trees falling off of the apple tree.
It's just a joke. but
Yeah,
you
no,
know
I
how
get
it
it.
goes, I'm not the perfect one on this fucking planet, so you can't fucking judge me.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, there's no judgment. It's
mean,
more. It's like.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I get. Like. I'm sure there are people that that relate to this situation too. And
Yeah, and you get what we're talking about.
yeah.
But it's some of that is this whole fucking big thing is actually affecting people that are on disability because they're not getting what they should really deserve. Like I was just talking to someone earlier this morning. They're on Social Security. Their fucking shit dropped. I'm supposed to be collecting $850 a month, and my shit dropped to $600. He says, what the fuck's going on? He says, I went through everything. He says, I waited for 3 years. I went to court and got denied 3 times, and he said the third time was the lucky charm. And he says, I've been getting Social Security for the past 8 years.
Sorry, there was like white hair all over my
now.
microphone.
Well, stop letting your cat walk her all around your desktop and your fucking table.
Well, my cat has black hair, so I don't know where
like,
white hair came from.
Oh, well, I don't know. Whatever. Can't use the cat for an excuse. But anyway,
Can't blame the dog because there is none.
But we were sitting and talking about this for a whole hour. He was like, I don't get it. He says, what the fuck's going on? He says, I'm supposed to be getting $850 and now I'm only getting $650. He's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And it's like what you and me already talked about. It's like it's affecting a lot of people, and like I said before, it's affecting the Mainers, and it's affecting our veterans up here in Maine.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
it's like,
it all comes down to.
like,
I mean, it all comes down to like. I mean, again, it comes down to the fact that the solution to this problem is a lot more simpler than politics are making it. I can't say anything other than that. Is just that like, wow, I just can't believe that even through this whole pandemic, not one person that has that much money has just said, hey, here you go. That'll solve all the problems and keep everybody at bay.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned this earlier before we did this episode.
Yeah.
Did you ever get your check?
Nope. Never got it.
Never got mine either. Never got mine either. Well, not really mine. I'm talking about my dad.
Right. Yeah.
He's been asking me every day. He calls me on the phone. When he's working, he calls me on the phone because I got to babysit the house when he's on the road. He keeps calling me every day. He's like, did my check come in? I'm like, nope. He says, what the fuck? He says, this is like going on 2 months without a fucking check. I was like, he's like, I fucking signed it. I fucking emailed the person. And, he did everything on the computer. He's like, I'm getting a fucking check. He says, I think I might be getting $2,400 because I'm living with him, but I don't know how that goes. I don't think that goes that way. I think he's getting the $1,200 instead of the $2,400. But the thing is, he wants to get it, and he's confused about because he's his own boss. He's contracted with a company that he works for, and he's the boss.
Right.
So he doesn't have any employees.
No, he's got himself. That's it.
Yeah. So he's trying to figure out if he is going to get that check or not, because he's contracted with this company. He's an owner-operator. He has his own truck, and he's his own boss. He does his own fucking... He books loads on the computer, and he does his own shit. So, I mean, he can go out to work any fucking time he wants. The thing is, he's only got 29 days. His contract is... He can only take about 29 days off. That's how long his contract will release him.
Right.
So I mean, he can do, right now he's been out for like 2 weeks. He can go out for another 3 weeks if he wants to, but then he can come home and stay home for 29 days. So if he does, let's just, for example, let's say that he stayed home for 28 days. He goes back to work the next day.
28 days later.
Load.
That's all I thought about for a second. There's zombies running everywhere.
He can be on vacation for 28 days. He'll go back to work for 1 day and do 1 load, and then come back home and then take another 28 days off. That's how his contract goes with his company.
That is insane.
Like, the way things are. The way things are is we went out last week and we bought a fucking brand new chainsaw, and he looked at me, he's like, dude, I need to get back to work. I'm fucking poor as shit. I need to work. And I'm like, all right, see you later. I'll watch the house.
So, I mean, you gotta, I mean, yeah, so that it just seems like that would be like a decent contract cut. If you can work 1 day and then take almost a month off every time, periodically.
Yeah, but the thing is, he didn't explain this to me though. But I should have asked him. Be like, well, his company is getting the stimulus checks.
Yeah.
And his company's paying him. But can he collect the stimulus check even though he's the boss? But he has no employees to pay. So is he getting that fucking check or not? And he's been bugging me. Oh, the check come in and be like, nope.
I want to fact check myself while you're talking.
He's like,
about this.
He's like, I don't know. He says, I don't think I'm going to see it at all. And I looked at him and I was like, well, now, if you had your own company and you had other employees drive your trucks, like he did, he was doing this back in the 80s and the 90s. He had about 7 trucks. He had his own little small business where he had everybody in town, well, not everybody in town, but he had people that he knew work for him and drive his trucks. But he didn't want to keep up with it because it was a hassle. He was spending more money than he was actually getting because most of the money went towards the equipment, the trucks, this and that, fuel, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And he couldn't keep up with that. So what I should have told him and should have asked him the question, be like, well, the only way that you would get the check is if you had more trucks and you had other people working for you. Then you would get the money, but you would probably get a higher amount because you need to pay your employees. You're not an employee; you're a boss. You run your own job. You run your own equipment. You pay for your own equipment.
Yeah.
The company pays for his fuel. So what's happening is his company is paying him from the checks that they got, but they're just paying for his fuel. He's making his own money by booking his loads that he wants to deliver.
Now, I just want to throw this out there. I fact checked myself. I just wanted to throw this out there that I did $1 billion divided by 326,700,000 people, and I'm just letting you guys know that the answer that I got was 3.06. So yes, that means you would get $3 million and $60. Like $3,060,000. That's what you would get, every person. Oh, sorry,
$3,660,000.
That's what I meant to say. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, 60,
every
yeah,
person in the United States would get $3,060,000 if somebody donated $1 billion to this. That's all I'm saying. That's insane. That's incredible. That's incredible. That we got such a big number. I mean, could you imagine just $2 billion? Just $2 billion. Yeah. And you take $1 billion as the budget for individuality. Or, sorry, I just totally said that wrong. You take $1 billion for just the individuals of the United States of America. Okay?
Yeah.
That's $3,060,000 for everybody. Now you take that other $1 billion and you fund anything else other than the individuals. Corporations.
Yeah, and that's
businesses.
That's just a charity, though. That's just a charity. Now that won't be taxed, and you won't be getting less than 3.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Now, but if it was taxed, then you'll be getting less than 3 million.
Right. Exactly what I'm saying. I mean, that just clarifies, though. That just clarifies how ignorant the situation is, really, and how. On multiple levels of ignorance too. It's not just the fact that the government is saying, "Hey, let's take all this money, $2.2 trillion. That's what we need. $2.2 trillion." And then where is it going? For one, and then for two, that nobody with that much money stepped in and said, "Hey, let's donate this to everybody." Nobody did.
Yeah. That's
just too big ignorance. Right there, side by side. That's all that is.
Now let's do some math, Jordan.
Yeah.
Take that 3 million and split it.
What do you mean by split it?
So let's say that my old man got $3 million, he's definitely gonna fucking split it half with me.
Well, what I'm saying is
half, and I'm gonna take half.
But what I'm saying is, if this was donated to everybody in the United States, everybody, that means your dad would get $3 million and you would get $3 million.
Yeah, but that's a catchy thing. You have to find out. If I'm living with him, I'm not the spouse. I'm still,
I hope not.
Well, I'm still the child. No, just, you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
You know how they're saying with the stimulus check? If it's one spouse, you're getting $1,200. So that means he's only getting $1,200. He's not getting the $2,400 because my mom's gone.
Right. Yeah. But still.
But if my mom was still there, he would be getting the $2,400. But I'm just asking you a question.
Yeah.
If would that be the same with the charity, $3 million, or?
Okay, now if you take it, if you take the donation,
$3 million, or would I get?
Okay, now if you take the donation of $1 billion and you put it in the system that the stimulus is going under, then your dad would get the $3 million. Yeah. So let me split that in half, because I guarantee you that's going to be about.
That was the question. Be like, listen.
I don't even need to split that. That's actually that's $1 million, 500,000, 30. Yeah, so that's $1,500,000, $30.
Well, the thing is, will I get the $3 million, and will he get the $3 million, or would he just get the $3 million and have to split it with me? That's what the question was.
Right, but it depends on the situation. If it's regarding the similarity of what the stimulus bill is going through now, or if it's just a straight out donation to everybody in general, not abiding by the stimulus bill.
Yeah, but if that ever happens, I don't think that'll ever happen.
Let's just say your dad is the only one that gets the $3 million. He gets $3,060,000. If you split that in half, that's $1,530,000. Okay, now take into consideration too, the average income. Like the average income is about, I'm gonna roughly say about $47,000 to $50,000 a year. That's the average annual income of America. Okay, now take that into 1 year, all right? And you do the math on that. Just with $1 million. You do the math on that. Because I'm pretty sure that's good few lifetime. That's a few lifetimes right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what especially what he'll do is he'll get 3 million. We'll split it 1.5, let's say, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, and we're just talking money game here. We're just talking money game here. But like, if let's just say, AJ, that you made $50,000 a year at a job, all right, that's $50,000 a year, all right, and then you incorporate all your responsibilities, your rent, or whatever, if you own a house, whatever, mortgage, and then you got your utilities, then you got your food, then you got your transportation to worry about, then this, that, and all the little. Whatever. Put all that into mathematics. Then find out what you can survive on. All right? So you take all the stuff that you don't, all the stuff that's necessity that you need, and then you divide you split that up between what you can spend, what you have extra. Now knowing that you can survive off of $50,000 a year. Now you're getting $1 million. And thinking about what you can actually, like, okay, so obviously you go the whole entire year without spending all of it, obviously. You just can't. Like, I mean...
Or barely nothing.
Barely nothing, right? Say you spend it on barely nothing but utilities, important essentials. And...
Well, you know what I would do? What I would do is if he got that $3 million and we split it halfway down the middle, first thing I would do is I'll put myself in a new apartment.
I thought you were going to say you're going to put yourself in a home.
Put myself in a new apartment.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to commit my dad to a nursing home.
No, he wants... Once we get through this shit, he just wants to live on the road for the rest of his life. He doesn't really want to be up here anymore either.
Oh, really? So he just wants to gypsy it out.
Oh yeah, he wants to. As soon as he's done with driving truck, he wants to retire and he wants to start growing pot. That's all he cares. He's done.
He wants to start growing pot.
He wants to start growing pot and get back to the days where he was a young teenager before Vietnam, where he used to smoke pot.
And then
I'm done. I'm done working for Uncle Sam. I'm retired, and I'm going to start smoking pot all over again. And I looked at him and I was like, okay, go right ahead.
Well, I mean, man, he's lived a life, like he's lived a life. We haven't even gotten there yet. We haven't even gotten to where he's at yet. You know what I mean? So, like, you never know. 30, 40 years from now, with us, we're going to say the same damn thing. Fuck it. I've lived a life. I'm just going to fucking retire on a ranch home and smoke a shitload of pot.
Now, you can definitely tell he is definitely one of the old timers, because when he tells you after he left Vietnam, his first job was Prince Spaghetti. Now, Prince Spaghetti was back in the fucking 70s and 80s. That's a fucking old time. Yeah. And they don't have Prince Spaghetti now these days.
Yeah. I mean, as
soon as he got out of the army, he went back into a machine shop for a while. And then he jumped into getting his CDL, and he started driving tractor trailer for fucking Prince Spaghetti. He did Prince Spaghetti. He worked for Budweiser. He worked for JB Hunt, but JB Hunt was after he worked for recycling. He did recycling for Budweiser because he had a contract with Budweiser for a while.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I mean and he worked for fucking McCain.
Yeah.
The French fry McCain.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he did that. He worked for McCain for a while.
Oh my God.
And then after that, he started jumping into JB Hunt. Then after JB Hunt, now he's with Schneider, and he's been with Schneider for almost 14 years. And he says now Schneider's been better to him than throughout the years that he went through his trucking life. But like I said, if he's gonna split that $3 million with me, first thing I'm gonna do is put myself in a new apartment, buy my well, not my first vehicle, because I've had so many vehicles through my old man, but my very first owned vehicle, I'm gonna pay it off right then and there, right with cash, so I don't have to deal with any fucking payments and shit.
Right.
And do the usual thing. Try to work for it or use my Social Security, pay bills, and
shit. Throw 20.
I'm not gonna be.
Shit. Just throw $20,000 into the stock market and make your money.
Yeah, and then fucking doing everything normal and trying
Gamble.
not to spend any of that money that I just got.
Buy hookers.
Yeah, no gambling, no hookers, no drugs, no this, no that. You're like, yeah, I can survive off of.
You say that. You say that now, but I feel like, if this really were to happen, okay, I feel like I would be woken up at 7 o'clock in the morning to you pounding on my door, with your shirt, like, just shredded up, you're sweating profusely, your eyes are fucking as big as the moon, and you're like, bro, I just spent all my money on Foxwoods and hookers, and I did a lot of drugs.
I need $1.5 million just to pay it all back.
I owe this Italian mob like half of what I had, and I put my home up for gamble, and I lost that, and I fucking forgot where I forgot where I put my other fucking shoe, and my pants are sagging down.
Oh, by the way, do you have a cigarette I can take?
Yeah, right. By the way, do you have a cigarette I could have? Because my nerves are shot. You're like, yo, do you want a glass of whiskey and a cigarette? Yeah.
Yeah, that will work. That'll calm me down. I'll be all right. But literally, $1.5 million, I wouldn't even touch it. I would fucking buy my car, my first vehicle, I guess. Because every fucking car that I've always had was heritage from parents anyway, so
yeah. I mean,
buy my own vehicle, pay for it straight up, no payment, straight cash, put myself in a new apartment, and then go from there.
Now,
I barely wouldn't even spend $100,000.
Honestly, though, now if I had the $1 million, like if I had just $1 million, right? And I'm not talking stimulus. I'm just saying now, if I had $1 million. I would be like, I would look like a paranoid crackhead in my apartment. I would literally be looking out my window all the time. I'd be making sure my doors were locked 5 times in a row. I would make sure that there was no way you could get into my window in my bedroom or my sink area. Everything would be tinfoiled up, and I'd be like, nobody is coming near me. Nobody's coming near me.
You gotta make sure your shotgun's full of shotgun shells.
I wouldn't even leave the house. I wouldn't even buy anything. I wouldn't buy anything. I wouldn't leave the house. I wouldn't buy anything. And I'd be looking over my back every second. I'd be like, my fucking cat is looking at me strange. He's on to me for something. My cat wants my money. Fuck you, cat. Throw him out the window.
You probably be sitting there like, dude, I need a fucking Grubhub. I need to order out. I need food. But I gotta make sure I got shells in my shotgun, because I'm not leaving.
Cock the gun while the delivery driver gets to your door. It's like 6 feet. 6 feet back. 6 feet back. Drop it at the door. Drop it at the door. I already paid you a tip. Get the fuck away.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. No.
Let's make this quick. I gotta get that pizza. The spy
You know,
cameras are watching us. They're here.
And it makes you realize, though, just thinking about that, it makes you realize why these rich people have such secluded homes and security systems and fences and all this shit, or they're in the middle of nowhere where nobody can find them because they have so much fucking money that they're worried that somebody's gonna break into their shit and steal their shit.
Drop that pizza on my doorstep and walk away.
Yeah.
You know the cameras are watching us and listening to our conversation about me having money.
See, what I would do though, if I did have a lot of money though, what I would do is I would get a fake address. Honestly, I would honestly get a fake address, and the only reason I would get a fake address is because, you know, like the thought that somebody would actually come try to find me, they would go to that fake address, and so this fake address would be like this nice looking place, and it would be highly secured. There would be nothing inside the building. You know, it would look like somebody was living there, but there would be nothing there. And it would just be there to delude the people that want to be up my ass 24/7, or people that try to rob me. They would see a nice house and they would try to break in, but lo and behold, there's nothing there for them to steal. You know what I mean? It would be like it would just be like a decoy. It would be a decoy house, and then, you know, like my real house would be undisclosed. Nobody would know where my real house is. And I would get a P.O. box. I would get a fucking P.O. box. Not a mailbox, a P.O. box.
The IRS wouldn't be able to track you because all they can find is like an old, abandoned, empty house.
Oh, no, I'd make sure the IRS knows. I have a property here. I would have to pay taxes on the property, but I would tell them, I have a property here that is meant for deceiving people because I don't want them to know where I really live. That's what it would be. That's what it would come down to.
You know what I would do? Is you know those old-fashioned 50s fucking bank vaults?
Well, like old cast iron things?
Old cast iron fucking vaults?
Yeah.
Well, I would find a vault like that, but, you know, house relatable size. And I'd put all my money in vaults.
You're ridiculous. You want a vault the size of a house?
No, not the size of a house, but it's small enough to put in a house where I can lock up all my money in a vault.
Yeah.
And I'd have a shit ton of guns, and I'll have like a bunch of fucking Doberman pinchers trained where they only have one command, and it's like cherry pie. If they hear cherry pie, they come running at you and attack you.
You know, we better not play any Warrant She's My Cherry Pie, because those fucking dogs will go all haywire over that shit.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
She's my cherry pie, and these fucking dogs are just like blah blah and destroy shit.
Yeah. Well, that was my idea. So if I fucking had that much money and I wanted to keep it safe, you know, and not put it in a bank, because you know the bank would really fuck you over for having that much.
Well, not just that, but I mean the thought of that possibly that bank could be robbed, or the thought that somebody could hack into the system and transfer all your funds. Yeah.
And the IRS taking my fucking money and the fucking Social Security, be like, oh, look at that, he's got a fucking $1.5 million in his bank. We need to take his Social Security and his disability away from him.
Yeah, just do what they did in the Great Depression. Just shove shit in your walls and vaults.
That is fucking keeping it in safes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, just shove shit in your walls and keep shit in your safe. You'll be fine.
Keeping everything fucking protected.
Don't trust the high authorities.
High authorities or the government or the IRS or
respect my authority. No, I will not respect your authority.
And the only thing you gotta say is, dude, I'm poor, I'm on disability, and I collect SSI. I don't have $1 million. What the fuck are you talking about? Where'd you get that idea from?
Yeah, on a spin-off note though, let's spin this off a little bit here, okay? Because thinking about authority, thinking about authoritative figures, those are the ones that you want to feel or think you can be protected by, regardless of who it is, a police department or fire department, all that stuff. You want to like, as a citizen, you want to feel protected by that high authority, right? And you know, just going to show you, like, it's not all what it seems to be sometimes. You know, there's some crooked people even in high powers. Clearly, I mean, that's everywhere. But
no, you just gave me an idea now.
What?
It's just at this point, if I had that much money, I'd pay off the SWAT. Be like, you need to protect my ass. I'm giving you this much money. I don't want anybody near my house. I don't want no thugs. I don't want no, you know, whatever. You pay off the police to protect you, like the fucking, like, back in the day, you know.
I wouldn't even do that. Honestly, I wouldn't even do that. That would just red flag me as like a shady individual, and I don't want that. I don't want to look like a shady individual. I mean,
oh, well, not the, okay,
you know, just keep yourself, you know, just keep yourself, you know, honest and you know, just let them know, hey, I am a wealthy individual. I just don't.
Okay, well,
you know,
then
like if you could patrol, you know, if you could just patrol my area like twice a day, that'd be great.
Well, if you want to be a respectable, wealthy guy and say, hey, you know, he does a little bit of charity, be like, all right, fuck it, give some money to the military and be like, I bought you a brand new fucking tank. You better protect my ass.
Shit.
You better fucking
I wouldn't do
roll
that.
down my street.
I wouldn't even do that.
You better roll down my street and fucking protect me from all the thugs and the fucking muggers and the fucking thieves and shit.
Are you kidding me? I would fund myself tanks. I would fund myself turrets, and I would fund myself mech warriors because, like, I'm like, you know what? Just leave AI to it. Leave AI to it because AI is just gonna kill anything or facial recognition. I don't know.
Yeah, the charity that I did is I gave charity to the Marines and the Army. I bought you both a brand new tank. You better be rolling down my street and protect my ass. So you see anybody, shoot them. Even if they're coming over to ask me for a cigarette, you better come up with their fucking gun in their face and be like, "What do you want?"
No, exactly. Yeah, no, you know, but like, let's spin this off a little bit here. So, like, again, you know, talking about law enforcement and all that stuff. You know, these are the figures that average citizens. You know, that just made me think of the interview. That's all I thought of was the interview with James Franco and Kim Jong-un.
Oh, what'd they say?
Fireworks. Yeah. Carolyn's like, you know, driving around in a tank listening to Katy Perry. That's all I kept thinking about was the interview with James Franco and Seth Rogen and that moment. That moment where James Franco is in the tank with Kim Jong-un and they have the Katy Perry fireworks playing in that's like Kim Jong-un's favorite band, favorite artist is Katy Perry or whatever, and but you know, spinning off, okay, going into like the law enforcement and all that stuff, okay, those are like, as a citizen, like yourself and I. We rely on them to protect us, you know, like that's what they're meant for, is protection, right? But so
well, and they better protect us instead of trying to molest us.
Well, that's you have a flag, just a flag that says "Protect me, don't molest me." No, but seriously, like, okay, I'm sure you may have known about this, you may not know about this, but in Stowe, Mass, the police chief, actually I had to write his name down, Ralph Marino, the police chief, Ralph Marino, he's actually under investigation because of he solicited minors, and that he now the investigation. I don't know what they're doing about the investigation. All I know is that Ralph Marino, chief police of Stowe, Mass, he relieved himself of his own duties. He actually relieved himself of his own duties because of this investigation and the accusations and things relating to what he did. He now there were a few cases with his department where there were kids that were going missing, and they're tying that involvement with him. They're actually tying that with him. He was going around soliciting minors for obviously sexual favors, and You know, it was just a coincidence that some of the minors went missing and then returned, and it was roughly around his line of duty, and the time scales of things just didn't add up. Once people started digging into it, once the department started investigating these situations, things didn't add up. And one major one that I'm sure you've probably heard of, or if you haven't, you're going to now. Was that the it's called the Predator Poachers of Massachusetts. It's a group of people who pretty much bust sexual predators. And one video went viral, and it was on the news, and it was all over social media, and it's on YouTube, and it's a video of Ralph Marino trying to, supposedly, like, he thought he was meeting up with an underage boy, and it was actually the predator poachers of Massachusetts setting him up. And they have a video of this on YouTube, and it's him. It's definitely him. And so that's where the investigation started out at, was that, great. So the chief of police is a sex offender, and he's been doing this multiple times throughout his career. And, you know, it just sucks that we have people like that in their line of power. And, you know, we're you know, as citizens, we're supposed to look up to these people for protection. And, you know, like, I'm sure this is probably, like, scared a lot of parents now, you know, knowing that the chief of police could, you know, like, at any given time that he decides to patrol around or whatever, pick up your child. And, you know, that's a scary thought, especially if you're a parent, is that this guy that you trust in is potentially going to grab your child and have his way or whatever, you know, like. But so he's being under investigation. He's relieved of his duties, and this actually just happened, like, what, 2 weeks ago? It was like 2 weeks ago now. It was last weekend. It's just crazy. It's crazy that this guy is going under investigation for something like this. And you know, when I'm going through this, I'm like, you know, what makes it worse, what makes it seem worse, is the fact that he relieved himself of his duties during the investigation. It almost, you know, to me, that made it seem like he was guilty of doing these things, and he didn't want to be in the department because of this.
Basically, fucking. He gave up, basically. He basically gave up and what do you call it? Committed that, I'm leaving the police I'm leaving the police, and I'm giving up, and I'm confessing myself.
Well, he didn't leave. Well, that's another messed up thing. Is say this guy, say Ralph. No, he didn't leave. Say Ralph Marino. You know, was going through this investigation. And, you know, it turns out that he is guilty of these convictions. But in the meantime, say that is true. In the meantime, he's still getting paid. He's still on the PD. He's still still on payroll. He's still the chief of police. He's just relieved of his duties temporarily.
Oh, what the fuck?
So he's getting paid throughout this investigation of him being a sexual predator. And not only that, but, you know, like having...
You ain't gonna get away with it then.
Well, you know, just having a video evidence of the same guy going to meet up, and they have text messages between Ralph Marino and this fake 14-year-old boy. And they have evidence on this guy. How is it that he's going through investigation right now? And, you know, it's sickening that somebody like that is in that power. They're getting paid throughout their leave of absence through this investigation, whether or not this guy is a sexual predator.
Fire him right there.
This guy should have. I mean, this is a serious accusation of somebody's well-being, for one. And two, you know, like having video evidence of this and text evidence of this, and then, you know, just the shady coincidence of some of these children going missing and then returning within the time scale of his shifts. You know, it's just, it doesn't add up. It sounds sketchy. He definitely seems like he is guilty, and
Yeah.
he should be just fired on the spot. He just should be fired completely, but he's not. He's still getting paid for this, even throughout this. And you know, like, I mean, again, it's a serious accusation on someone's well-being and their life and everything. But if you have evidence on this guy, and you have evidence on this guy, and he's still working, he's still the chief of police, there's something wrong there. Why are you investigating this? If you have the evidence, if you have the texts, which, by the way, you know, like, obviously, hello, you know, text messages will go to his phone. Obviously, they come from the phone. And
well, the thing is, that's the good thing, because if he tries to delete them, they're still in the phone because they're in the fucking motherboard.
Well, oh, Jesus, like, almost every carrier that you get has documented all of your conversations. They have documented all of your conversations, everything. You can actually go, even like, just as an example, though, my carrier, I can go to my carrier store and tell them I want past messages and things and conversations, and they'll go back a month. But even still, that's a month of conversations that they save in the system.
Yeah, so even though if he dropped his phone in a bucket of acid, or if he just fucking burns his phone or whatever and destroys the motherboard, you can still trace it from through the carrier on their system, on their.
Yeah, and you know, but again,
even though if they don't do that, and they have some technicians that, you know, nerd technicians that really get into the phone type shit.
I love that clarification. Nerd technicians. We're getting a little touchy with that.
It's still saved in the phone. It's still saved on the phone as a backup in the motherboard.
Right.
It's like computers. When you delete something on your computer, you're not fully deleting it. It's still stuck in your memory.
Damn it.
It's just going to give you more space because you deleted it, but it's still in your motherboard. Still, shit in your motherboard still going to be saved, like your hard drive, motherboard, whatever.
Well, shit, I can only imagine what people are getting through mine. Thought I deleted that. I never watch midgets. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Big boobs? What?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, right?
Oh, fuck. Whoops.
Shit. No, I mean, but it just goes to show you that, you know, like, you got to watch out for a lot of things now. Like, things are getting crazy in these times. I mean, 2020 has literally shown us that we can go beyond our limitations, I think. And it like disasters and viruses and you know, hardships and predators all over the freaking place. You know what I mean? Like, this is getting crazy. It's just getting nuts. You know, 2020 is just by far the most bizarre year anyone could possibly get involved in. But, you know, but, you know, again, shout out to, you know, predator poachers of Massachusetts, because I sincerely think that you guys are actually doing justice where justice should be served, and it's not at the moment. Hopefully that it does, but, you know, like, it's a good thing that we have groups like that out there, because, you know, if I had kids, man, I'm telling you what, I would never look at law enforcement the same way again. Ever. Yeah. Ever. Like, that's just me, but, like, you know, I wouldn't be able to. I'd be like, you know, like, the chief of police is the guy running your show here. Yeah, hardships and predators. But, you know, like, but, like, you know, the chief of police is running your show, and he's a sex offender. I'm not gonna have that. I'm not gonna have you guys around my kids. Hell no. You know, like, I'm not trying to, like, bundle every law enforcement up into a bubble, but that would really, like, put my guard up a little bit about who I should trust in the law enforcement and, you know, the powers that I have to rely on as a citizen. You know, that makes me a little jumpy. But, again, you know, like, that's just the way it is. And, you know, I think, you know, we should wrap it up here. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's the end of the day. And there's nothing that can be done at that point. So, with that being said, stay classy, not trashy, everyone. And have yourselves a splendid time. We'll see you next week. And make sure you go to our YouTube channel. Check it out. Subscribe to that. Hit the bell. Flick the bell. And, you know, go to... well, we got SoundCloud over there. We got Anchor over there. We got Spotify over there. And we're going to be on iHeartRadio soon, so that'll be cool. And, you know, just show some support through our social media networks. And we would love it. We are appreciative of the fans we have. And we would love more fans. But anyway, that's it. That's it, guys. All right. And again, thank you. You know, this is the first episode that we did of Acting the Ordinary. As you can tell, acting the ordinary is anything but, and it's just the way life is. So we're out. We'll see you next week, next Sunday at 9, and can't wait.